Hi, thanks for watching. Today we're going to discuss food deserts, define what a food desert is, and hopefully find out if you live in one, and what we can do about food deserts to make things better for everybody. A food desert is a geographic area that doesn't have affordable or healthy food that you can purchase or have access to. Some declining rural communities might not have a grocery store or a food market or stalls. Some places don't even have a Dollar General. There's also another component to this, and that is the ability to get to a food store or place that sells food without necessarily having public transportation or your own vehicle or other transportation. If you have something that is a 10-minute car drive away, but you don't have a car and there isn't public transportation, you live in a food desert. And unfortunately, because of the urban and rural sprawl in this country, the sprawl is the idea of growing farther and farther out from a city or town to these very secluded, far off places, or living in a community of single family residences without any central business district, without the ability to go and congregate or socialize, and in the case of a food desert, not having any foodstuffs nearby that you can go and buy without having a vehicle. I remember I lived in North Carolina in a small, I guess you could call it a suburb of Raleigh, North Carolina, called Clayton. Just to go to the grocery store was a 10-minute drive. Luckily, I did have transportation. I had my own car, so I was able to get there, but if I didn't, I pretty much would be screwed. With the cost of foodstuffs, the affordability component of the definition of a food desert comes into play. I remember just a couple of years ago, you could buy a 2-liter of Diet Coke. I drank a lot of Diet Coke, and it was 99 cents on sale. Nowadays, it's like $2 or even $3. If you remember the price of eggs during the avian flu epidemic a few months ago, I mean, the prices were drastic and still are in some places. Everything is more expensive, and most people's salaries and cost of living adjustments, if you're on something like a fixed income like Social Security, aren't necessarily keeping up with the prices. So more and more people are having problems with hunger and starvation around the world. And the supply chain issues caused by, most recently, wars in Ukraine, which Ukraine produces and exports so much of food to the rest of the world. And things like the pandemic, where there really wasn't a lot of trading between nations, has caused and exacerbated the issues of a food desert even more so. Do you live in a food desert, and what kinds of problems do you face? Is it the fact that you can't afford foods, or that you don't have any healthy options and have to buy junk food to survive? And unfortunately, many of us do live on this highly processed foods that aren't good for us, that do not provide us the same calorie intake, and do not have the same nutritional value. You can certainly eat potato chips every day because of pure enjoyment and ignoble pleasure, but it isn't good for you. It just empty calories. There's no nutritional value to something like potato chips, as an example. If we eat too much of lunch meats, they are now recognized as a carcinogen. The list goes on and on. But as a society, we need to create more places that people can congregate to socialize. We need more healthcare options. We need more affordable housing. And we need more food places for communities in need, whether that is a food bank or a store or a supermarket. There needs to be some type, or a soup kitchen for that matter. There needs to be more options out there for people, especially those who do not live in a big city, who don't have public transportation, and who don't have their own vehicles. Not everybody can afford a car in America. I mean, if you buy a new car, you're looking at spending, tens of thousands of dollars in some cases. What are your thoughts on this topic? Are you impacted, or do you live in a food desert? If so, please let me know what your thoughts are below. And if you found this video interesting or educational, please subscribe. Take care.